A very good morning to everyone. Hope I am audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good morning to everyone gathered here. English is more than just exams and grades. It's about having the confidence to communicate and access a lifetime of enriching experiences and opportunities. To develop real-life English skills and to give students the communication skills they can use for everyday life, work, study, and travel, Hindustan First Grade College is organizing Cambridge English training and exams for the benefit of the students. With this information, I take an extreme pleasure to welcome our today's speaker, Ms. Mariegold Gwendolene Ruth, who is Center Exams Manager, Hindustan International School. Welcome you, ma'am. It's a great privilege for me to welcome our Captain of Ship, our Principal, Dr. C.J. Priya, for this orientation program. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Narishri.
It's a great pleasure to welcome everybody who have all joined for this meeting. Ms. Gwen has been working with Hindustan International School for the past 4 years. She has a total of 8 years experience in teaching and has passed Cambridge International Diploma Teaching and Learning with distinction. Today, Ms. Gwen Ruth is here to give us an orientation about Cambridge English exams and its benefits. I request the participants to mute your audio and use the chat box to communicate if at all you want to communicate. And at the end of the session, there will be a feedback session or the discussion session where you'll be able to ask doubts if you have and have a discussion with the speaker. With this, over to you, ma'am. Please take over the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Happy morning to everyone. Thank you so much for taking out time on a Saturday to attend an orientation on BEC, which is Business English Certification. I would first like to thank our management and Principal Dr. C.J. Priya, Ms. Nagashri, and faculty of Hindustan First Grade College for inviting me to give an orientation on Cambridge Business English Certification. I'm so happy to be here. Feels so good to be back in college. Thank you, Ms. Nagashri, for that introduction. So all of you are listening to me from Mysuru, and I'm from Chennai. And it's sad that we can't meet in person. And my name was too lengthy, Mariegold Gwendolene Ruth. So in short, you can call me Gwen. I'm the Cambridge Center Exams Manager for Hindustan Group of Institutions. So let me tell you, it's truly a proud moment that we are an authorized center to conduct Cambridge English assessment. And since Hindustan always wants the best for its students, these exams are made mandatory for you all to benefit from them. The objective of this BEC is to mold you students into confident entrepreneurs. It focuses on the business perspective on training your English skills and to support your dreams. So before I start presenting my slide, let me leave you with a quote to ponder on. Good communication is the bridge between confusion and clarity. So I'll just turn off my video and present my screen. Can I, ma'am? Just let me know when you can see my screen, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we are able to see your screen now.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so ma'am, I can't see the chat box. I'm starting it off with an activity. So if you can just tell me whatever they're putting into the chat box, it would be of great help. So the first slide says, thank you, ma'am. So a small startup activity, I want you to close your eyes and just think of what you would be in the next 5 to 6 years. Please don't fall asleep. I know it's Saturday and it's only 10:30. So for the next 40 minutes, I'll try my best to keep it interesting, and I want it to be a little interactive as well. So just think, where do you see yourself in the next 5 or 6 years? You can, if you're having your plan in your mind, you can use the chat box. Ms. Nagashri would help me out as to what you have put in. Yes, any answers? What is your future plan? Where do you see yourself, where you stand in the next 5 years? It can be now that you stepped out of school and you're into college, you're excited what life could be. Believe me, we all have been there. So what is your future goal? So where are you looking at yourself from now?
Miss Savi have replied that she wants to be a lecturer or teacher guiding students or youngsters of the future. And one more student by name Syed Fawaz has replied that he wants to see himself in an airport working as a cargo manager.
Wow, excellent. So you would have came up with ideas like this, right? Working in a multinational organization or leading a team, running your own family business or doing a master degree, doing a research, working in an overseas company. These are the things that you have in mind, right? Do you have what is needed to get where you want to be? Or is there something that is holding you back? We all have this fantastic dreams that we want to. So what are the effects, or what is that is holding you back, that you aren't that confident to say, yes, I can do this? Why I'm asking you this is because many people in the industry think that candidates aren't ready for a workplace. There is a skill gap, right? Let's look at these skill gaps. Okay, can you see this pie chart? It represents the result of a survey in the US. It asked people to say where they thought the biggest gap was with skills such as the ones which you see to your left of my slide. So can you decide which of the skill of the left is the biggest slice of the piece of the pie chart? Which is occupying the biggest side? You can use the chat box again. Is it lack of computer-based or technology skills? Is it lack of soft skills, that is communication, critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration? Or do you think it's lack of strong leadership skills or lack of technical skills? Just put in your answer in the chat. You can guess which would be the larger piece of slice in the pie and which is the smallest. You can mention both.
Please use the chat box to communicate.
Any answers, ma'am? You can just say which skill you feel is most lacking in a workplace. Ma'am, any answers?
Communication skill.
Very good. So the biggest concern is with communication.
Communicate.
Right? Yeah. Thank you so much. So the following you can see, right? So I'll just show you the pie chart. Yes. About 44% of people in the industry think that there is a gap in the communication skill. Okay. So when organizations across the world refer to communication skills, which is language, what are they referring to? Any guesses? When the organization across the world refers to communication skills, which language are they referring to?
English.
Very good. So being good at grammar or being able to speak comfortably with friends and families are not the same as being able to use language effectively in a workplace, right? So if you had scored about 85% in your school or college in your English exams, Do you think it guarantees that they can write effective reports or proposals or review or being able to participate effectively in a business meeting? Do you think that would help?
No.
No.
Yeah. So I'd like you to think about what you're going to do about it. Before that, I'd like you to answer the following questions. When I say communication at the workplace, what do we mean? Where and when do we need to communicate in a workplace? Any answers? When do you really have to communicate? When you're starting off your job? What are the things that happen?
Ma'am, communication will definitely help us in developing a good rapport with our
Yes.
colleagues.
Yeah, socializing at workplace. Yes. Any other points?
Delivering the appropriate message that the people listening can understand properly.
You have correct sentence structure and vocabulary to present yourself, right? In a group
Excuse me,
meeting
ma'am.
in front
There is a
of
little
2 or
disturbance
3
in your voice.
people, they might be.
Yes, ma'am. There was like breakouts in the voice.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I was talking about in a business meeting when you have to comprehend whatever you understood from a presentation, or what is your perspective of putting things forward. If you're able to introduce yourself well, to tell them or to really mention from which team do you belong, what do you exactly do at your workplace, you need to be confident to communicate, right? A next scenario can be if you're meeting a client. It will be a formal meeting. You have to understand their business. Why have they approached you? What are the key indicators that you can look at, right? Another very important skill that you need to have is your negotiating skill, right? What are you offering? How will you explain your deal? Will you be able to persuade the person to kind of accept your proposal? Or will you be able to negotiate and say, sorry, sir, can't do that. Maybe I can help you with a better idea. So all this presentations, we have so many presentations. Now many schools are itself coming excellent presentations, and they're training students as to how to explain and deal with day-to-day life, right? Will you be able to persuade the person and kind of tell them what you exactly want them to look forward to? Writing mails is another task, right? Business reports or minutes of the meeting, there's a particular format that you need to follow. What kind of keywords do you use? You can't write the whole thing there out, right? You need to be clear. You need to express yourself in the right way. So all this is what we look at from the business perspective. So do you think you're ready to handle all these kind of communications? And when I say communication, I mean communication in the workplace, not just your grammar. So are you ready for this? So in other words, are you ready for business English, right? There are so many tasks that you have. You have to answer calls, conference calls, or if you're kind of, carry a message for someone at your workplace, you need to kind of pass over the message correctly. As someone had rightly mentioned, socializing with friends at workplace. So do you think you're really ready to handle this? Unless I'm just not talking about the communication, the way you speak to your friend. I'm talking about communication in workplace, and that's what you are going to look for in business English. Okay, so coming back to this pie chart, what plan do you have? What are you going to do to make sure that you're ready for work? You might come up with plans saying that, okay, let me watch some YouTube videos or talk to your friends in English. Come on, let's just only, communicate in English. We're going to improve in that way. Let's start reading newspapers, watch English news, talk to, taking English classes. So you're going to just think about how you're going to use language in a social setting, right? And using it in a workplace is an effective tool for communication. And they are totally two different things, right? Remember this pie chart that I showed you at the beginning? If Americans are not able to communicate effectively and English is their mother tongue, how do you think people from India manage? Especially considering English is possibly a second or a third language, right? So communication involves a lot of things, right? It's like a magician's hat, right? There are lots of things inside it. We need to use all these rabbits in your hat in different times, understanding and proceeding the information, writing clear and concise reports, addressing points in an effective manner, presenting ideas in a logical and sequential manner, fine-tuning proposals instead of making it a very long, lengthy one, to the point, right? Paraphrasing, drawing conclusions from what you have read, inferring and understanding meaning, drafting proposals. These are something which Beck would be training you on. So do you have these skills? Yes. How will I prove this to an employer? No, or how will you improve them? If your answer is yes, or if your answer is no, what are you going to do about all this, right? So look at the words on the screen. What do they indicate? How might business English be different from general English and business English certification? Can you see the words on my slide? So what do they indicate? What is the difference that I'm talking about when I'm saying English is a business context? And what is the difference between a general English paper? Any answers, children? Students, any answers? Any guesses? What is the difference between business? Yes.
Students, please try to communicate in the chat window. Use the chat window to communicate. As of now, I have not received any replies.
Okay, so can I take it forward then, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So in exams that test English in a business context, these are not just exams that test a candidate's general proficiency. They are exams that test a candidate's language proficiency at workplace. The focus is on English used for a specific purpose, and in this case, it's business English, right? So Beck exams that test how well you can communicate in a workplace based on your 4 skills, which is reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So in this slide, it gives you an idea of how some of the workplace skills Beck test, and of course, there are many more. So in a Cambridge English exam, there are 3 levels of difficulty that each are linked to an international standard, a standard that is understood all over the world. And okay, so I'd like you to see a Beck exams on the slide. Just give me 1 second because I'm multitasking. Yeah. So these are the 3 levels of exams that Beck offer. The first one is B1 preliminary. The second is B2 Vantage. And the third level is C1 higher, right? So you can see as to from a lower level, you kind of understand where exactly do you stand in your English language skills. So the certificate is designed in such a way that it is mapped across the common European framework for reference. Okay, so how good is your English? If I'm going to ask you to rate your English in a scale of 1 to 10, where or how, what kind of rating would you give yourself? You should definitely use the chat box now. How good is your English? Rate your English on a scale of 1 to 10.
One student has replied as with a scale at 6.5 out of 10.
10. Yes. Like, for example, when someone says, right, it's 8 or 7. So how do I know what is your 7, or if your 7 is the same as my 7? Your good could be my fantastic, or my average could be your poor. So words like these, our rating can be subjective and influenced by our experience and expectations. So this is where the CEFR comes into the picture. So I'll just share my screen. I don't think the video is kind of playing. I just want you to listen what exactly is a CEFR, the Common European Framework. Since our assessment happens like that, I've picked up the video to share it with you. 1 second. Yes.
As a language learner or teacher, you may have heard of Common European Framework of Reference, or CEFR. But what is it, and why does it matter for English language learners? It's actually pretty simple. Different learners have different levels of language ability, but opinions about your English level can be subjective. Your friends may think your English is good, but an employer might think it is not good enough, and you may be better at some skills than others. For example, you may be able to read better than you can speak. We need a clear, objective way to describe language skills that everyone can agree on. This is what the CEFR provides. The CEFR breaks down language learning into 6 levels, which it calls A1 to C2. The starting point, A1, describes a very basic language level. As a learner, you can move up the levels until you reach proficiency, C2 level. This is a really advanced level. By describing what you can do in reading, writing, speaking, and listening, the CEFR will tell you where you are on the journey from beginner, A1, through to proficiency, C2. There are many Cambridge English exams available for different ages and stages of learning, all matched to CEFR levels, from young learners through to university and the workplace, or simply for travel. The CEFR was developed by the Council of Europe with extensive support from University of Cambridge ESOL examinations. People from all over the world use the CEFR to explain what level of English they are at and what level of English they need. It is used by learners, teachers, universities, governments, and employers. The CEFR has been very influential, and not only in Europe. It's been published in more than 35 languages, and descriptions of individual languages have also been developed. Cambridge is a partner in the English Profile Programme, which provides very useful descriptions of English grammar and vocabulary at each level of the CEFR. Understanding your language level will help you to achieve your goal, whether it's going on holiday abroad, studying at school or university, or getting a job. And that's why the CEFR levels are useful for everyone.
Yes, so that explains why they think that CEFR, sorry about that. Yeah. So that explains as to why we think that the CEFR is considered to be a standardized and not subjective result, right? So at each level, you have a standard of what someone at that level is capable of doing. Therefore, it is objective rather than subjective, right? So it's a globally recognized scale to measure language proficiency, and it comes with detailed description for each level. That is, for example, an employer may say, I need to recruit someone who's at least a B1 level. So your certificate shows you where you exactly stand in terms with the CEFR validation, right? Okay, so these are the 3 levels that I told you that Beck offers. English certification. The preliminary is the starting level, and then Vantage, and then higher. For each level, there is a description of what a learner can actually do with language. There is a series of statements called can-do statements, which listening and speaking. Okay, so let's look at some of these Beck preliminary low levels at the Beck exams. Yes. Can-do summary. So listening and speaking can follow simple presentations and demonstrations, can deal with predictable requests from a visitor, can offer advice to clients with own job area or simple matters, can state routine requirements, asking to typing to be done. Example, right? So you're reading and writing, you can understand the general meaning of non-routine letters within your own work area. You can understand short reports of predictable nature, can make notes on routine matters such as, taking or placing an order, can write straightforward routine letters of factual nature. So there are more details can-do statements for each of the language skills, but this gives you an idea of what is expected for a Beck preliminary level. So if you achieve a Beck certificate, it proves that you have met the criteria of an international standard. If you apply to an university or a corporate or an immigration authority, they will understand how well you can communicate in English. So can you imagine what else makes Beck reliable and globally recognized? What makes it so reliable and globally recognized? From where are you getting this Beck certification? Any answers? Or can I give you the answer itself?
No answers in the chat box, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am. The most significant fact is that Beck examinations are brought to you by Cambridge English, which is part of the University of Cambridge. Cambridge is known all over the world for its excellence. It's one of the foremost university. It will always be on the top 4, right? University in the world. It's very important that Cambridge keeps its reputation for excellence. So everything it produces is at a highest quality. That's what employers and other universities understand. So the Beck exams are some of the most reliable exams in the world. A quick question, since it looks like a monologue and only I'm talking here. So when did we start? You all have your mobile phones, you have Google. When did Cambridge English assessment start? Can you put your answer in the chat box?
Students try to find out the answers by Googling and use the chat window to write your answer.
Yeah, if you don't know, you can definitely use Google or you can guess. You don't have to be even correct. I can tell you that. Just guessing, how old is Cambridge English assessment? Any answers, ma'am?
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay, so we kind of started in the year
1913, ma'am.
Very good. Yes. So just do the calculation. It's around 108 years that we are into assessment. Excellent. So did you Google or you guessed? Or you
Google,
knew?
ma'am.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So the certification that you get, the certifications are valid across the world. And while you are still seated in Mysuru, you get a certificate from Cambridge. And its quality speaks when the corporates check them. They know what is your capacity, what are you capable for. They know it's from Cambridge, and your parents can be assured that it's coming in from a reliable university, right? Yes. So let's have a look at what you have to do in a Beck exam. Okay, so at the preliminary level, you have reading and writing are combined into one paper, and all three level test the 4 skills: the reading and writing, listening and speaking. So the parts and the time involved increases with each level. So here you have 7 parts, you have 45 questions for reading, 2 tasks in writing, and the paper is about 1 hour 30 minutes. In a listening skill test, you'll have another 4 parts. You'll have 30 questions in it, and it would be for about 40 minutes. And your speaking test would be only for 12 minutes, and it would be divided into 3 parts if you're looking at preliminary. Okay, if you're looking at Vantage, again, it increases as the parts are also increased. Questions are 45 questions. In your reading and writing, it is 1 hour. And for writing, it's two tasks for 45 minutes. And for listening, it's 3 parts, 30 questions, 40 minutes. And for speaking, again, it is 14 minutes. So from your next level, when it's a little, you have a little more time that is exceeded. Yeah. The result you receive shows whether you have passed with a merit, or passed with a distinction, or just failed, or completely failed. You get your kind of certification graded like this. Can you see distinction, merit, pass? Right? So if you pass or pass with a merit, your certificate will show CEFR level B1. Okay? So if you pass with a distinction, your certificate will say that you are better than B1. In fact, your language ability is at the CEFR level B2. So if you did really well, you'll get a certification putting the CEFR in place, level B2. Or if you just fail, you still get a certificate. And this is not a BEC certificate, but it is a certificate explains that your language ability is at the CEFR level A2. So even if you fail, you still get to know where you stand in your language skill. Okay? So this is how a BEC certificate looks like. On the front, it has the university logo, information about you, your grade, the CEFR level you have achieved. On the back, there is more information to help employers and recruiters understand what you can do with language. So the candidate information you have here, can you see? The exam information is here. The CEFR level is given here. The CEFR explaining your scores and your can-do statements. If it's either a pass or pass with a merit or distinction, grade C, B, A for Vantage and higher. So the date of exam, place, and candidate's reference number is also mentioned in your certificate. So BEC is a lifelong qualification. Cambridge English exams are accepted by over 20,000 universities, employers, and governments around the world. Our exams can open doors to higher education, improve employment opportunities, and because they are globally recognized, they can also increase learners' choice for study or work. Just a few many examples of organizations in India which has recognized Cambridge English Business Certification as well. You have the national and the international places. Can you see that? Yeah. I hope you'll see that there's highly a competitive job market, not only in India, but around the world. Having a BEC certification helps candidates show that they are different. Right? So get notice with your Cambridge English Business Certificate. The exams gives you a valuable proof of your ability to communicate in English when you're applying for a business-related study or work. With Cambridge English Business Certification, you can show you meet college entry criteria regarding English language ability to get a real advantage when applying for jobs, build and enhance your career in an international environment, either in your own country or abroad. Okay, you can prove you're ready for success in a business-related study. The exams are accepted by universities, colleges, and business schools in the UK, Australia, US, India, China, and internationally. They know national and international students with this exam have a business-focused English skill needed for success on business-related course. Example, your MBA, accountancy, catering, management studies. So with Cambridge English Business Certification, you can show education. You can show that you're serious about your studies and your future career. You have work-focused English language skills you need to do well in your course. And you're comfortable in operating in an international environment. How confidently can you say, yes, I can do this. Maybe I can take down the minutes of the meeting, or I can do the presentation. How confident are you growing into be? Okay. In an increasingly competitive job market, you can show employers you're able to have the English language skill they are looking for. Thousands of organizations globally, including the top multinational corporations like HSBC, accept the exams as proof of work-focused language ability. These exams use real work-related tasks and activities for practical use in workplace. So these market-leading exams are developed by our Cambridge English Language Assessment, a department of the University of Cambridge and world leaders in language teaching and assessment. So your business English certification is accepted across the world. The top multinational companies also do that. So students, I'm so privileged to be here and talk to you about all these advantages. So if you're looking up for Beck material, you can actually download this on your phone app as well. It's called Cambridge English Beck. Okay. You can navigate and get your materials in that. You can have a look at past papers when you're free. I know many of you kind of play games, so you can get to know where you stand accordingly. Is there an improvement? It tells you clearly with FAQs that you can ask, okay, to kind of test your skill. And I'm done. So students, I'm so privileged to address you all today, and hope you found the session very useful and have a better clarity on Beck. This course makes you stand out from the crowd. It will build your confidence and help you communicate your brilliant ideas. You will not have to fumble for words. It will prepare you for your interview, as well how to handle work-related queries, work-related situations, etc. So Beck will help you. A big thank you to all of you for your patience. It's so bad that I can't meet you all in person. So hopefully if you invite me to Mysuru, or at least for you, if you would invite me for your certification distribution ceremony, I would be happy to meet you in person. Really hope to see you all do well and pass out and fly. Thank you so much. So I think Ms. Nagashri would play a testimonial by a third-year student from KCG College, Dwarka. She had taken up the Beck exam, so a few words from her experience. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so sorry to interrupt. So for further details, if you want to know about this course, you can get in touch with your faculty, Ms. Nagshri. I've just put in a phone number and email ID. Please do refer your friends as well if they would like to take up these exams. They can register in our college. Okay, we can take them under a preparatory college from outside. We can help them out with the material. And we will be the center for them to take up these exams. So there are many other sites as well of where you can go and look at Cambridge English. This is the site that I was talking to, where you get your past papers, your material, to see what exactly are the benefits. This is the website I was talking about, cambridgeenglish.org. Test your English. So you can definitely go ahead and check all these sites. Thank you, ma'am. So I think if I'm done, you can start showing them the testimonial.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dwarka, a student of KCG College of Technology, currently doing my third year in CSE. I had Beck training in the first year of college, and Beck trained us in the 4 important skills required for the English language: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. The best part about Beck is that students who were already good at English were picked and were trained to get better at their skills from a business perspective or from a corporate perspective. So all of us who were good casual communicators of English can now draft professional emails use appropriate words while speaking to higher authorities, and so on. Not only that, the Beck speaking training has made me more confident, and that helped me win a couple of prizes during inter-college debate competitions. Towards the end of our training, we had the opportunity to take up the Beck exam. That showed us how much we've improved and how much more we can improve in the future. And we also got a certificate which adds a lot of value to our resume. And I think that's a great boost to any of the fresh graduates.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
If there's any questions, they can ask me before.
Dear students,
Yes, ma'am.
if you have any doubts regarding the examinations or anything related to the examinations, Cambridge English examinations or Beck examinations, you can just use the chat to know, or either you can unmute yourself and ask the question so that your doubts will be instantly cleared by madam. I don't think they have left with any doubts, madam. It was quite clear. So thank you so much for enlightening us, even including me. Like, we do not know much about the examinations, and your presentation was so clear that we could understand it from the depth, like what are the benefits and what are the levels and everything, ma'am. So I take this opportunity to thank you wholeheartedly for the wonderful webinar. It was a great orientation indeed. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
I also take this opportunity to thank our beloved principal to permit us or in organizing or helping us in organizing this orientation to the students. I thank all the participants, teaching staff, and the students of Hindustan First Grade College, those who had participated and enriched their knowledge about the examinations. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.